What we're talking about next is not too far from tourism. In fact, it's right in the heart of tourism, right? Remember Kingsley said, the parks are generating the amounts that one artist gets, and it was funny, but it was heartbreaking as well. Imagine all the parks generating just what an artist takes home on a night. And that's where we're dovetailing into this morning. Afrobeat, the music industry, just how big it is. And then we have a big name in that industry joining us on the show this morning. You might know him as something else, but let me tell you his real name. You might be shocked. His name, Oluseun Abisagbola, or we call him Bankulli or Osha. He's right here with us in our Lagos studio. Good morning, welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I don't want to go through the backstory of how we captured you, a whole Osha, to get you into the studio this morning.
I'm accessible.
You're accessible, right? Because in Yoruba, Osha is like a deity, a small god.
I mean, I see Osha, a small god. We're all created in God's image and likeness, and we're all gods. We're mini gods. You know, when God created man, he breathed the breath of life. That's what we all know. That's the story. And what is the breath? That is what makes God, something special. You know.
So you've got spiritual past.
No, we are all. We're all.
So tell us, just for a lot of people who see you on a daily and wonder, is Bankulli a producer? Is he a singer? Is he a music exec? They know it's Osha anyway. What exactly is Bankulli? Because we see Bankulli moving things, but he's enigmatic. Please define Bankulli to us this morning.
Well, I mean, it's simple. I'm a music entrepreneur. I mean, when it comes to music entrepreneurship, you know, it goes through different compartments. You know, you talk about music production, you talk about the business of music itself. You talk about music video, you talk about filming, you know, there's so many different aspects there. And when I was coming through the ranks, you know, there was no training. The biggest training I had was being educated. I remember my dad was telling me at that time, if you want to do music, you have to be educated. I said, sir, because my dad was a teacher. And you know, teachers are very disciplined. You can't look at them in the face. I'm like, sir, you mean if I go to university, I can do music? He said, yes. I said, sir, can you say it one more time? And he said, if you go to school, you can do music. And I went to University of Ibadan because of that.
Oh,
yeah,
first and best.
Yeah, I did my bachelor's degree.
We're alums.
For real? Oh, greatest UI.
Great.
And I'm a third right too. So.
Oh, I'm a Kutite.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a lot of stubborn, right? A lot of fire.
But enjoy.
You know, I remember my dad said you have to go through university. You have to be educated to be a musician. I can sing at that time. I sang in church. I was very popular, and I felt, oh, okay, that's what I was going to do. And I remember going through the university, and when I left the uni and came back home, I thought my dad was thinking that going to school, you know, education, going to class, trying to, you know, pass your exam must have taken. He didn't know that sending me to university actually empowered me because I had opportunity to play for different fellowships, you know. There's so many churches in Ibadan, you know, interacted with people, things I don't know about music performance, playing bass guitar, playing keyboard, playing guitar, production, music production, singing. So I got to learn it physically with other people going to uni. And when I came back home, it was like, oh, okay, now, you know, let me take you to one of my friends so that you can start working. I'm like, sir.
Again.
No, sir.
Oh, it was a different sir.
You said if I go to university, I can do music. That's what I want to do. And it was a big tussle in the house, you know. And I remembered one of those days I came back home and I came to pick my bag. I was traveling to London. And my dad was like, where are you going to? I said, sir, I'm going to London. I'll be back next month. He said, to go and do what? I said, we have a show in London, you know. And he was like, okay, kneel down. And he prayed for me.
Wow.
And that's what I've been doing all my life, you know. And I give thanks for the education part because, of course, music business involves reading. You have to pre-read some contracts before you give it to the lawyers to peruse it. It involves common sense. You must encounter deep thinking. If not, you know, you find a lot of chaos. And of course, we see all the chaos on social media most of the time. So it involves, you know, also human management, you know, managing of resources. and other trainings that you cannot get sitting home and thinking that, because you have that skill alone, you can apply that to, music business. It doesn't work like that.
Wow.
Well, interesting. I've been looking forward to this, Bankulli, and particularly about your humility. Many may not know it, but before all of these big names became big names, you knew them and you were grooming them. I'm talking about Don Jazzy, I'm talking about D'banj, even JJC Skills. I remember all those years ago when you assembled them and gave me the opportunity to interview them.
Wow.
And we could also talk about some of the collaborations that you worked on. Jesus with Kanye West, Lion King, The Gift with Beyonce. For some who are looking at you and, I like, wow, perhaps you want to give us some of the backstories to how you prefer to be on the back seat and put these talents together. And your name is on all of these collaborations, yet you choose the rare.
Well, I must give God the glory because it is not about, we are all choosing, you can be chosen for a part. But even if you are chosen for a part, you must be prepared, you must equip yourself with information, with wisdom, with knowledge. God gives wisdom. That's the way I see it. You're a broadcaster. I'm sure you must have gone through some kind of formal or informal training on how to present, on how to, talk to people and stuff like that. If not, there will be chaos here. I believe same is exactly what I've gone through. Remember, I told you my dad was a teacher. My dad was also the choir master of the church at that time. And so we have no choice. When he's going for choir practice, we have to go to church. I was one of the last person out of the children he had, to be the member of choir. So at some point in my life, I was a member of choir, so I can play guitar, I can play trumpet, I can play saxophone, because we're always in the church. And there was time to learn all those stuff. So I must give thanks for that wisdom to be able to, draw to that place. And from there, I learned how to play percussion, conga, shekere, drums. And for you to follow all those musical equipment, you must be disciplined, you must be humble, you must be attentive, you must be watchful, you must be learning from somebody, and having all those skills, going to university, learning about what music is myself, from other people, seeing other people's perspective. By the time I find myself in those rooms with Beyonce, with Jay-Z, with Kanye, it was as if I was practicalizing what I've been taught from way back. There was nothing. It's not as if we're all humans. Yeah. There was no extra. One person is extra skilled than somebody. Apart from me learning how they've been able to approach things. And I've been able to take that, infuse that in how I relate with people. And that's what you call experience. Gathering information from other people over time and making use of it to better yourself and to better people around you. If you are, as the Bible says, if you don't humble yourself, God will humble you. And as much as you humble yourself, God will lift you up. So there's no point, getting all those accolades and putting it in your head. It's not going to, what matters is how much people you are able to impact. I remember you were asking me the question that is it my first time in channels. If you go way back, I was coming on my way here with your driver. I was showing him the picture and video of Tenny. The first time I brought Tenny to channels, and there was no song. A video went viral on social media, and I'm like, let's go to channels. I have some friends there, let's go. And she came to channels, she was supposed to do 10 minutes interview. And Tenny did almost an hour plus interview on the Saturday morning belt. And with that, exposure came, people started, oh, that girl, oh, that's the girl. And that's how the whole stuff, for me, that is a joy. That is joy for me.
Look at Tenny. You've always been doing.
Look at what, it's connecting the dots. That's what if you check my Twitter space, I put it there.
We're going to explore that because I know you did some videos and we're seeing these pictures of big, like what I see as millions of dollars. Like we're going to go to this conversation.
Actually, billions.
Yes, billions of dollars. Kanye, Jay-Z, and all of that with Bankulli. So we're going to get to this point. But one of the things I wanted to find out from you, with streaming platforms exporting movies and comedy, with some of these people you're talking about now, rarely in Nigeria, touring Europe and America and all of that, are we really making the most from Afrobeat, in all honesty, with this explosion?
Are you talking about Nigeria or the artists?
Nigeria as a country, are we making, because the artists are getting paid in dollars.
I hope you want me to talk?
Yes, that's why I said I asked that question.
It's a talk show, actually. So go ahead.
Are we really making the most from the explosion? I know you know the question I'm asking.
I know
from
what you're asking
Afrobeats.
about. Well, it is very sad that Nigeria as a country virtually is not benefiting economically from the boom, from the explosion of Afrobeat. For you to benefit from something, you have to be there must be part investment. I'm not attacking any political parties. I'm not attacking anybody in government. But I'm virtually saying that, until people begin to see music itself as not a comic, or how do you put it?
Child's play.
Child's play. Only when they want to do campaign for election, that's when you think artists are relevant. But if you look at the economic benefit of it, Davido has close to 1 billion or over 1 billion streams. Burna Boy has over 1 billion streams. Wizkid have over 1 billion streams. Rema has 1 billion streams. I mean, people streaming their music all over the world, including people from Nigeria, especially people in the diaspora. The question is, the revenue is going where?
That's the question.
The revenue will not come to Nigeria, because did Nigeria actually really invest in these boys? Considering you have people in the petroleum sector, you have people that owns Orlando, that owns other things. One way or the other, government gives them rebate. I'm sure you know. Especially people like Dangote. I'm sure. But the question is, how many structures have you actually seen around that has contributed to the development of the creative industry? Apart from people investing their personal energy, struggle, going through different, degrading, depressing situations to get to the top. Have you looked at it from that end? Also look at our banking. All those streams I've told you about, all those, going on tour that you're talking about, is the banking industry benefiting from it? No. If a small company or somebody that have an idea how to develop an artist from zero to this, and they show structure, they present documents, and they provide every information to all these banks, how many of them are actually ready to invest? I'm sure there should be something they call investment banking.
I know there was a time the banking industry was allowed to put money into music, maybe 8-10 years ago, but that had to stop because of some, irregularities or what have you. And there are fears, because you've raised this major issue, that we need to take advantage of this now and really think holistically. Do you agree with people who say Afrobeats will only reign for maybe a few more years, so we had better take advantage of it before it becomes out of fashion? Do you agree?
But the question is that who said that Afrobeat will reign for a few more years? Who the hell is the person?
So
I'm sorry to use that.
You don't agree with any of them?
I will never agree with that. I can't agree with that, because we projected that it's going to be where it is and beyond. One thing that people do not understand is that as long as you have social media, as long as you have all those platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest of them, as long as you have internet, Afrobeat will never die.
Forever?
Forever. It's like you are saying that, is a 40-year-old going to go away?
No, because you
understand? A 40-year-old is morphing into different vegetable soups.
But consumption pattern changes.
It doesn't matter. It has never changed. You still have a Dikaiko, you still have a farm. They are all, it's just the people that cook it that different.
Bankulli, what kind of this? What the person may have said is the fact that there was a time reggae was a rave, and then reggae is still being consumed, but the consumption rate now is. The question
at that time was that who was the people? How many people were championing reggae at that time compared to the numbers you have? On the forefront, you have Rema, you have Ashake. Ashake is pushing the street hip hop, street vibe, as people will say it. You have Davido, you have Wizkid, you have Burna Boy, you have Telly, you have Tiwa. You have so many of them. You have Buju, you have Shei Vibe.
You have Osha.
We have God too. You understand what I'm saying? So, how do you...
That's David.
Well, so compared to reggae you just mentioned now, you have only Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and few of them. Was the torch passed to the other generation? Yes, but there was no internet at that time. But you have social media that connects the dots faster. And that's what Afrobeat is doing.
So if there's an ambassador, like all of these Afrobeat ambassadors who is effectively pushing reggae with the aid of the internet, reggae can go far.
100%. If internet was existing during Bob Marley time, it will be a difficult task for Afrobeat too.
By the way, he's still sort of reigning because his music is still classic. You still listen to
Bob Marley, but you cannot overemphasize the influence of Afrobeats. You can. Few months ago, I saw like a repackaged album of Bob Marley, and you found some of those Afrobeat artists, featuring on those. All those. On the album. And there must be a reason for that.
Bankulli, despite the absence of all of those structures that you talked about in response to Jeff's initial question, Afrobeat is still, commanding attention from the work that you're doing, and with the Kanye West of this world, Jay-Z and Beyonce, the component that you're able to introduce in your collaboration to their music. Now, I want you to speak to that and speak to what you identify as the marked difference between how they work and how we work, and if they're able to identify the potential in Afrobeat and choose to work with you, what should we be doing right, such that we can benefit from all of the potential in terms of finances, from those collaborations?
Number one, technology. There used to be a time where you have like a lot of people manning your cameras. I can see that they are all robotic now. Technology. And access to all those technology, do you really have a lot of them here in Nigeria? No. How many first-class grade A studios do you have in Nigeria? Virtually maybe few.
We have
you
some.
Understand? Yeah, we have some, but virtually few. In Lagos, we used to have a co-remix back in the days, owned by Lagos State government.
Yeah.
Where is a co-remix? A co-remix can accommodate 50 choral people, choir members can be recorded. What am I saying? 100 to 500 can be recorded at a go.
What?
Yes. It was commanding one of the best equipment in terms of recording, analog, SSL, big studio. You have, the mixing board that you can record parchment of 100 people at a go. Where is the co-remix? I went there the other day. They called us for an event, and I went there, and I was crying internally. Everything rotten up. So if this generation are not meeting such investment, how do you think you should commend them? You should commend all the young guys. How they've been able to use nothing to get to something. How they've been able to use their voice. How they've been able to, play around sound, traditional sound like Fuji, high life music, influence of P-pop, influence from Afrobeat by Fela. People always make that the similarities. They don't understand that Afrobeat created by Fela and Afrobeats with S. Yes, they might be conflicting, but at the end of the day, with the way it's going, you can also put a definition behind it. What Fela was doing as blues scales, half jazz, half classicals. And like I always tell everybody, the only few people that do that kind of music is Femi Kuti, Seun Kuti, Imade Kuti, Lagbaja. And when you have Afrobeat with an S, you have a lot of elements there. High life, you have Fuji, you have influence of hip-hop. And of course, influence of hip-hop, you have Olamide.
So they're actually different, is what
they are very, very different. But there are still some borrowed elements from Fela itself.
But the message, it looks like the message.
The messaging
carry the message.
The messaging are so totally different because of this generation.
So is that positive, really? Because you know that Fela's music is still relatable today because it spoke to social ills, political ills. But Afrobeats, it's not the same.
I disagree. Food do not they
When was that song sang? When was that song?
But the song is still relevant.
No, when was it sang? That was what?
That's what
over a
10 years ago.
decade or 20.
I don't want to mention the name. Da 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 da. Is that not relevant?
That was like 20 years ago.
But it
we
doesn't
don't
matter.
have those songs
But
anymore.
now you are in a generation where people want to talk about other topics. They
But
want
how
to talk.
sustainable is that? Because we're still in the context of.
But you don't understand what I'm saying. People want to talk about other topics.
Okay.
They want to talk about love. They want to talk about depression. They want to talk about feelings. They want to talk about so many different things. They want to talk about the physical body.
But
It's
sometimes some of the subject matters are aimless. I don't want to speak to some messaging from certain songs so that we don't put certain artists on the spot.
You say it's aimless because of the age bracket you are now.
Okay.
But
So she's old?
Bankulli, I'm not old.
I can never say that. She's still looking young.
No, Bankulli. Just because I mentioned all those years ago doesn't mean that I'm old. But I want you to speak to your role as you work with these artists, particularly those that we're X-raying now in their messaging from Afrobeat. What role do you play in prevailing on them to be more inspiring?
Oh wow, I'm looking at that picture. That picture.
That's your whiskey, yeah.
I mean, that picture was taken 4 a.m. in London, and it was after a show I put together. I mean, for Flavor, after the concert. I heard Wizkid was performing, and I'm like, okay, let's go and watch Wizkid. But it looks as if we're having,
a good time.
And the next day, the tour continued the next day. So by 7, I had to wake up and go back for sound check. So these are a lot of sacrifice. I don't want to talk about too many. A lot of them that, they put in their life. Wizkid grew up in Shita, Ojo-Elegba area. Look at that. A young boy from Shita Ojo-Elegba is commanding one of the biggest songs in the world. Apart from him being a Nigerian, being mentioned as a Nigerian, what has Nigeria government benefited from that? And you keep, I saw the topic you were talking about, tourism, right? December came. Afrobeats is the capital of Afrobeats is Lagos, right? Okay. But all these young guys are going touring all over the world. What happens in Lagos?
Even the Afro Nation was cancelled.
Why won't it be cancelled?
Well, there was a countdown festival at least. At all.
You did not hold.
At all.
But I'm saying that, are you telling me that the government, I don't want to mention state, or so that it won't look as if, because I'm close to everybody. You want to tell me that government cannot partner with individual promoters to organize a 1-month concert, Afrobeat Welcome Home tourism concert in Lagos?
The country.
In Lagos. No. Okay, let's say across the country is too much. In Lagos. Imagine the amount of flights that will come in. Imagine the amount of tickets people will pre-book to come. Accommodation, Airbnb, food. What's government going to provide? Security.
Ticket price is a big issue.
No, it doesn't matter.
We'll talk about. But
I'm saying you want to bring the rest of the world here.
Yeah.
You want them to bring the dollars, pounds, sterling.
Okay.
There's something they call standard price.
Okay.
When it comes to that, even if there is going to be cheaper tickets, they know that they've sold the main tickets and they've recouped. They've recouped the most amount of their investment back. They're going to bring in a lot of equipment to fit in that. I hope you know that.
All right, Bankulli, before we begin to start wrapping up, I've been having this question on my mind. I must ask this, because when people see you with people like Kanye and Jay-Z, it's a big deal. This is you and Tenny, and of course, when they see you with these big guys who are commanding not just America but the entire world, this picture, people are concerned. How did you get to meet them? What is it that you are that makes them to respect you? What is it that you do that makes them to call you exactly? Because a lot of people would like to be like you who are in that space. So how did you meet Kanye? How did you meet Jay-Z? How did you meet Beyonce? How did you get to all of it?
We heard that was a fight between you and some artists.
I will talk about that.
Bankulli, what about your own personal projects, your own music? I mean, you promote all of these artists. Where are your own songs?
You're choking him with the question.
No. Let him answer this one. You can end with your project.
Okay, moving with this, there are only 2 pictures of this kind ever. And from Nigeria. I don't know if anybody have that around the world. And I believe this was the last. I don't know if there is any other picture you can find
both of them
like that in that space. And that was a recording space. Another person that has this kind of picture in Nigeria is Don Jazzy. We almost had, he was in the same room. And basically what was going on at that time was we were working on the Watch the Throne concert. And preluding that, we met Kanye in Dubai. And I remember that we were in Dubai for an event, for a birthday celebration of a top guy from Nigeria. And on our way out of Dubai, we got to the airport, and the hostess, they thought our convoy was Kanye. And they came like, oh, Mr. Kanye West. So we all knew. Even I say Kanye go there this place. So we were at Alat. Yeah. Really? We're like, okay, we were at Alat. So when we got there and we spotted him coming to the departure hall, so I told one of our guys, Chuchu, he lives in Abuja. I'm like, Chuchu, go and check whether that's Kanye. Please don't talk to him because I know Chuchu. Or Chuchu actually went ahead. That's the picture, you see.
Oh,
so that's the only. So Chuchu actually went there, saw him, and went to greet him. What I told him not to do, he did it. So when the library just come, so when he came and he told us Kanye was there, and I told everybody, I mean, I just, out of the spirit, I'm like, anything you want to play for Kanye, let's go and meet him now. And people, I remember somebody said, he has problem with paparazzi. I said, what concerns you? Let's go and meet him. I don't know where the confidence came.
The boldness, the confidence.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, so we approached him, and we approached him, and I spoke to him. I'm like, hi, my name is Bankulli. And I stretched my hand to him. He was sitting down, and he stood up. He said, how are you? I said, I'm fine. That I manage the band. And he's one of the biggest artists in Africa. And he was on the same stage with you at the Star Mega Jam previously. And he said, yes, I remember Star Mega Jam. And the band was wearing a jacket, a billionaire jacket. And he said, I like your jacket. And from there, we told him that we have some music to play for him. And he listened to two of them. When he was listening to one of the music, he started hearing, pring, pring, final body, final body. And we told everybody that, everybody go. We are ready to sleep in Dubai. So everybody left, and we played the first song, we played the second song, and exactly his words. I paid some people at the Los Angeles University to study Nigeria, to study African music. They've not been able to come up with the kind of sound I'm looking for. What I'm looking for, I can hear it in exactly what he just played for me. Who produced the song? And we said Don Jazzy is back home in Nigeria. He said, okay, let's link up in New York. And when you're coming, come with Don Jazzy. And of course, we went back home. We got to Nigeria. We told Don Jazzy that we saw Kanye West. He didn't believe. He said, go and sit down somewhere. How can you meet Kanye West? And he said, you should come to Dubai. He didn't believe it until we went to New York. I mean, we were in New York, and I was in charge. I sent a mail. We have a mail. He gave us a mail to communicate. He doesn't have phone at that time. And okay, this picture is very relevant to this story. So we were in New York, and we were waiting to communicate to Kanye. The number he gave us was not going. Apparently, the person's number, the person has been sacked by Kanye. So we were stuck in New York for like a week. I was sending emails, and email was just, nobody was responding. So we reached out to one of our big bros in New York, Mr. Ugugwa, who came back and gave us an email address that we can send email to. So I sent email to that email. And that person apparently was Kanye's close friend, Don C. And hi, my name is Bankulli. We met Kanye in Dubai. He told us to link up with him in New York. We're in New York. This is the 5th day.
We're running out of time. Quickly, your personal project.
Go on and on.
I'm telling you. I mean, my personal project are two beautiful artists that I picked. And one, her name is Constance. Yeah, and the other one is Basil.
Okay.
And of course, I'm still working on a project for Shatta Wale of Ghana as well.
Okay, is it the All My Life song by Constance? That's the song now.
That All My Life is me featuring Constance and Basil. Right. I mean, trying to use my own, image exactly to introduce them.
We should continue this conversation sometime.
We should.
I'm always
absolutely.
available.
I want to thank you so much, Bankulli, music entrepreneur, the star plug, the neck that holds all international collaborations.
God is the plug.
I love that.
Again, your
Thank
humility.
you so much for your time.
Thank you so
we'll talk
much.
about your relationship with Kanye West, the fight, maybe in another conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Very best.
Thank you so much for coming.
Greatest UItes.
Great.
That's it.
Okay.
Greatest morning brief, Jeff.
Greatest Malabar.
We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we're talking money, business, and John McQuarrie joins us right after this. We're linking all of the conversation to the Forex. Stay with us. It's still the morning brief.